for a young African American male. This day means quite a bit because it tells me that America can meet its promise, that there is liberty and justice for all here.
This morning, bittersweet justice for the family of Ahmaud Arbery and their supporters. On Friday, a judge sentenced Travis and Greg McMichael to life in prison without the possibility of parole, plus 20 years. William Roddy Bryan was sentenced to life in prison with the possibility of parole. The three men still face federal hate crime charges, and they'll be back in court in a month. John Schierick updates us on what's next in the case.
They left the Glynn County Courthouse sentenced to spend the rest of their lives in prison for murdering Ahmaud Arbery. Next, they'll be on trial in a federal courthouse for their alleged motive. Federal prosecutors will tell that jury that the three men killed Arbery because he was black.
Say his name.
Some civil rights activists, including Malik Zulu Shabazz, say life in prison is not enough. They're hoping the upcoming federal hate crimes trial will result in tougher punishment.
It's not over, because in this trial, the death penalty is at stake for these defendants. And we are all behind them receiving the death penalty and the death sentence for what they have done.
Arbery's mother, Wanda Cooper Jones.
Son, raising you was the honor of my life.
And others in the family were approached by federal prosecutors, according to family attorney Lee Merritt. The feds telling the family that the three men were willing to plead guilty to the federal hate crimes to avoid the death penalty. Merritt telling us the family responded, no deal. As it is, the judge's sentences for their murder convictions.
Life plus 20, life plus 20 years. Mr. Bryan, a life with the possibility of paroles.
Amount to justice for Ahmaud Arbery, finally, in the words of prosecutor Linda Dunikoski.
The men who murdered him have been held accountable. There is no place, as the judge said, for taking the law into your own hands, which is what vigilante justice is, and that's what the McMichaels and Mr. Bryan did.
DA Flynn Brody tells me this time prosecutors made a point of focusing on right and wrong, not on black and white. Their next trial in federal court will focus on it all.
We have been covering this case for 2 years now in depth. If you're interested in seeing more of our coverage, check out the dedicated playlist on our 11 Alive YouTube channel. It highlights some of the biggest moments, like Arbery's family speaking in court, reaction back in November when the defendants were convicted, and the weeks of evidence presented in this case.